Good morning, gang. Happy Sunday morning. Hope everybody had fun at the live stream last night. Always do. So, it's, one thing I love about the live streams, I love about the comments and everything like that is just the sense of community we all have. And I love seeing everybody sharing ideas and different ways of doing things, asking questions, other people answering them, you guys giving me great tips. That's one of my favorite things about doing all of this is just seeing the participation of everybody. It's not just me talking and y'all listening. It's, everybody communicating back and forth. And, to me, that's the best part of doing all of this because we get to share ideas and, make everybody else think about something, get good ideas so we're all better prepared, if you will. I mean, and that's kind of the whole reason we all spend all the time we do here is to keep learning. And, I don't have all the answers. You don't have all the answers, but combined between all of us, we do. We just kind of got to put it all together. So I just wanted to say thank you for everybody for participating so well. It makes this a lot of fun for me too. All right, so on to today's topic. And today I wanted to discuss one that rarely, if ever, gets talked about by prepper channels, okay? And I'm going to preface this with a quick comment, all right? If I know a lot of you like to have your morning coffee over this, watching the video or whatever it is, and I appreciate that. I enjoy reading the comments when I'm having my coffee too. This isn't, let's just use it this way, the cleanest topic, because what we're going to talk about today is sanitation. And in an SHTF event, sanitation is going to be enormous. And it's a topic that nobody ever really thinks about, okay? So I want to start here. You got to remember, bad sanitation leads to disease, okay? People seriously underestimate the amount of waste that we create. And I'm not just talking about empty beer cans laying around on Sunday morning, okay? Sanitation is probably one of the things most preppers are most unprepared for. After all, sanitation isn't something we can buy. It's not something that you can go out and get. It's actually something that we have to get rid of. Okay, so it's difficult to plan for it there. Okay, so let's start here. Take a guess how much trash the average person creates in a year, and I'll bet you'll be surprised. 2,072 pounds of trash is created by each person in the United States each year. Okay, now the average person eats 1,996 pounds of food per year. So go upstairs, go down in the basement, go wherever your pantry is, go take a look at it, the entire scope of what you got, and think to yourself, that's the amount of trash we make in 1 year. What are you going to do with it? And I know looking at the size of my pantry, I go, holy crap, that's going to be a lot of crap, okay? So, now, I know what some of you are thinking. I'll burn it. Easy. Okay. Go do the same exercise. Go look at your pantry, all of those canned goods, and answer that question again. Metal doesn't burn too well. Okay. You see, sanitation is going to be a huge issue in any SHTF event, and for many reasons. And this is why you got to have a plan now, because if it happens, that's the last time you want to be trying to figure it out, okay? If the trash man isn't coming or the dump isn't open, even if you can get to it, okay, what are you going to do with all the waste? You see, waste is going to cause you a ton of problems. First, you got diseases, whether they're gastrointestinal, stomach pain, vomiting, diarrhea, cholera, skin diseases, respiratory allergies, or something even more severe like salmonella, shigellosis, staph infections, food poisoning, skin infections, and tetanus, okay? That's all the stuff that you can get from waste, okay? Those are things you got to think about. Then next, you got all the vermin, the rats, the raccoons, the birds. Okay, drive past any municipal dump sometime and you'll see all the seagulls flying around. Okay, all those animals are going to want to scavenge for food, and then you have them near, and of course their droppings, which that's what I really want, is bird poop all over the place. Then you get rats carrying different diseases, thousands of them. Okay, raccoons can be rabid. Bird poop, like I said, very unhealthy. Okay, so you got all that issue. Then you got the insects, flies and maggots. Ever go look inside a trash can in the summertime? Maggots. Do you want to live with that near your food source? Okay, and that's just the trash you're going to generate. So now we also have to plan for our disposal of human waste, all right? The average person creates 320 pounds of poop each year and 135 gallons of urine per person per year, okay? Now, hopefully those of us with septic systems can still manage to flush a toilet, but that, of course, is going to take precious water to do. And of course, if you're on municipal water, forget it, okay? If the water ain't coming in, the water ain't going out through the sewer pipes either, okay? Then, of course, there's composting toilets as well. And we all know about the luggable loo, okay? Problem is, pooping and peeing in a bucket is fine, but where are you going to dispose of it? You just can't collect buckets of this stuff all over the place, okay? Now, can't stack it outside the door. I mean, if you've ever been on latrine duty or used a porta potty, okay, the smell is sickening, okay? So what's the plan? If each person creates 2,072 pounds of trash, 320 pounds of poop, and 135 gallons of urine in a year, that means your family of 4 creates over 4 tons of garbage, 2/3 of a ton of poop, and enough pee to fill the average residential propane tank, okay? You see, this is the one thing that's never mentioned in movies or books or anything like that, because there is no good solution, okay? Notice any of these movies we watch, The Rock doesn't go off and say, hey, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. No, it just doesn't come up, all right? Now, like I said, there's no good solution. To bury it, to bury that much, you're going to basically need a backhoe to dig a big enough hole, okay? You can't compost human waste effectively to use it in the garden like you can cow or horse manure. I know people say you can do it. It takes about 4 or 5 years, okay? You got 4 or 5 years to deal with before you're going to go dig it up, all right? Metal cans don't decompose, and all that plastic, while it burns, is toxic, okay? That's why you got to come up with a solution now before the ball drops, okay? So obviously you're going to burn anything that's combustible. As for the cans, you're going to need to wash those out after each use, okay? Get all the tomato sauce out of your can of raviolios, but of course that means using water, okay? Certainly use gray water for this, as chances are you're not going to be using the cans to eat out of. But then again, I can pretty much bet you're going to find some sort of use for all that metal, okay? Then you get things like animal waste, bones and entrails. Let's say you got a deer and you clean the deer. You got to get rid of something like that, okay? If you don't, that stuff's going to attract all sorts of wildlife. I mean, remember, a bear can smell blood from 20 miles away. So burying that stuff is an absolute must. Fortunately, the animal waste like that will decompose over time, so eventually it'll help you create a good growing medium for your garden, okay? Though I wouldn't bury it in the garden because it's gonna spoil and rot, and you don't want that on your fresh food. Let it go compost in the ground somewhere, and a couple of years down the road you can dig it all up and you'll have rich soil, okay? So make a special place to bury animal waste and bones and entrails and everything. Just make sure to bury it at least 18 inches deep and nowhere near your water source. You don't want animals going out and trying to dig it up. If they can't smell it, they don't know it's there, okay? But then, of course, that leaves human waste, and guess what? You're gonna need to dig a latrine, okay? Now, to make an effective latrine, it needs to be at least 1.5 feet wide, at least 2 feet deep, and at least 3 feet long. and obviously bigger if you've got more people, okay? That's a good sized latrine for a few months for a family of 4. To keep down the smell and to keep the flies away, you're going to need to cover your business with something. Wood ash is a good solution. So is sawdust, okay? To figure out where to put your latrine is also important. You want it at least 100 yards downwind from your normal gathering area. You also want it downgrade from your food service area and at least 100 feet away from any sort of groundwater source, okay? Also, remember to put toilet paper out by your latrine. An old coffee can is a good holder for it. And absolutely make sure you got something to wash your hands afterward with, okay? You know, canteen of water out there, a bucket of water or something, and some hand sanitizer would be a good idea, all right? See, guys, disease will be either the number 1 or number 2 cause of death in any SHTF situation, starvation being the other one, okay? And as preppers, we've all put thousands of hours into thoughts of our food supplies. Maybe it's time we put a little bit of thought into the after effect of eating. Wanted to give you that one this morning. Like I said, I warned you ahead of time. If you were having breakfast, this was not the video for you. But this is an important one, guys, because if there's anything that is a life and death thing, it's disease, okay? And so you need to take this one seriously and get some plans made out ahead of time. That's what I got today. Have a good Sunday. Hopefully it's not sleeting and snowing like it is here in Tennessee. Have a good one, y'all. Talk to you later. Pinball out.